My name is Andreas Necknig. I'm a senior pre-sales consultant with Matrix42, and I want to share with you during the next 30 minutes my thoughts on workspace transformation beyond VDI, MDM, and ITSM solutions. Say again? Is it working? It should work, or I need to speak a little bit louder. Okay, good. Some words about Matrix42 itself. Matrix42 is a German software vendor. We are headquartered in Frankfurt am Main. Have been founded 1992, so since 20 years, more than 20 years on market. And we are concentrating on the management of physical, virtual, mobile devices in combination with ITSM and compliance. So who wonders any longer about this presentation title? We do have some subsidiaries in the US, in UK. We're based in Austria and Switzerland, and as well in the Netherlands. Some last words about the membership with Asseco Group. Don't know if you know Asseco. It's a Polish software company, one of the 5th biggest software companies within Europe, and is at least a very strong financial backup for Matrix42. Okay, so let's have a look here on the workspace transformation. Why workspace transformation? And the biggest reason for this is that the work styles of end users have been changed during the last couple of years, 10 years. So the end users need to be more flexible in when and where they want to and have to work and have to do their daily business work. And yeah, if you're thinking about multiple branch offices, the employee has to travel a lot, needs to work from home whatsoever. It's definitely no question that end users, employees need to be more flexible in where they have to do their daily business work. Business mobility and device app diversity does support this kind of flexibility. Virtualization and cloud-based services as well. So if you're thinking about CRM systems hosted in the cloud, or if you're thinking about something like the Google Drive service, I'm using a lot because well, it is no longer any hassle with sharing bigger files with my business partners or with my colleagues. All I do need for accessing to the Google Drive is something like an internet access. IT consumerization is something which also maybe will support this kind of flexibility. I believe that the consumerization of IT assets, applications, or gadgets whatsoever has never been easier than today. So most employees and end users are definitely familiar with this by just linking to an app store like Google or the Apple App Store, just clicking on an application they are interested in. They have to pay for it, and after a couple of seconds later, this application will be deployed and installed on the mobile device. Very simple to use, very easy to use, very easy to handle. And I believe that more and more end users and employees expecting the same behavior from the IT department. So what about if a company does provide to the end users something like a company-owned marketplace, something like a self-service portal, which allows the end user to get an overview about what IT is able to deliver to the end users. Let's have a look to this slide here. Another indicator why this is not any longer a PC-only driven world, right? Multiple devices, such like smartphones and tablets, are also part of the whole work style of an end user. This demonstrates at least that since 2011, more applications have been deployed to non-Windows-based systems, like Android devices, Blackberries, or Apple devices, rather than to Windows-based devices. So this means that Windows doesn't dominate IT any longer, right? But on the other side, this also means that IT definitely needs to have an answer on how to manage all those different device types. So if the style have been changed, what about the workspace transformation? As discussed before, it's not any longer the point that an end user definitely only works in one branch office. He can work anywhere from home if he's traveling to the next business meeting. For sure, he's not in charge of any longer one device. There are multiple devices, such like a laptop, a smartphone, or maybe a tablet, something like this. What's about the ownership? So bring your own could also be a game changer here. So I remember it very well. I had a presentation my very first time about bring your own. I believe this is now 2.5 years ago. And after this presentation, the whole audience came to me and told me, well, okay, this was a good one, bring your own, fine, but hey, this will never, ever going to work within Germany because of legal reasons, because of whatever. And in the meantime, I will be frequently asked by my attendees of presentations, okay, what about bring your own, right? I want to set up a bring your own strategy, how to implement this. Are your solutions dealing with this? So something has changed with this piece of strategy, but the biggest challenge with bring your own is the legal stuff, at least, right? So IT definitely needs to know who is the owner of a device. Is it a dedicated company-owned device, or is it a privately held device? And this, at least, needs to be reflected as well within asset and license management solutions. Another one is about the management of all of those different device types. So on the one side, you do have laptops, desktops to manage. On the other side, you have to manage your mobile devices, maybe virtual environments and all of this stuff. Think about the deployment of a small application like Evernote, right? The user requests Evernote to be deployed to his devices, but somehow needs now to decide on which device this small application needs to be deployed. Has it to be deployed on the laptop or on the mobile device or on the smartphone or on all devices the end user is in charge of? Well, at the end, this definitely means that we have to move away from a device-centric approach and have to move to a more user-centric approach. So the user is requesting the application, and the system, the management system behind, needs to decide, okay, it needs to be deployed to a laptop and in addition to a smartphone. I've discussed this with this point or the example of IT consumerization. So what about if the company provides to the end user something like a marketplace, a company-owned marketplace, a self-service portal? This will also change the style of working, as the end user is able to connect directly to a web portal or to with a mobile app to the service catalog. And yeah, maybe within this web portal, several applications are provided to the end users. The end user can order, and after a quick approval process, so the decision maker has to do approval about if this application has to be deployed to the end user's device. This order will fully automatically handed over to maybe the software distribution part, which at the end of the day will deploy this kind of software to the end user's device. So key could be here, or should be, to put all of this into some kind of workflow management as well. What's about the philosophy behind? So we need to move away from managing the workspaces, so all of those different IT assets the end user is in charge of, from a technical approach more to a service-oriented approach. Okay. So if we are moving away from the PC era, and if we arrived already into the mobile and cloud era, this also does mean that we need to change the philosophy behind of managing all of those different IT assets. It needs to move from a device-centric approach to an end-user-centric approach. But how to overcome this if IT does have several different solutions for managing all of those different environments. So when I'm talking to customers, they from time to time telling me, well, okay, I'm using a solution for managing my laptops and my desktops, and another one for managing my smartphones and tablets, another one, or let's say the native consoles and solutions for managing my virtualization or virtual environments. But we are not there that we can combine all of those different environments, right? We do have issues in understanding which IT assets have been applied to the end user. So there are no connectors from an asset management or license management or a service desk tool to all of those different automation management driven solutions. So our vision or our mission here is to run more a holistic approach, which covers all of those different environments for managing those multiple devices, because if you're creating such kind of IT silos, this definitely will end in, let's say, unsatisfied end users. So our approach is the management of virtual, mobile, and physical and cloud-based services or devices, but this definitely needs to be in line with, on one side, security and compliance. On the other side, it needs to be integrated into business processes or IT service management processes, and needs to support the flexible work style of the end user by providing to the end user something like a self-service portal. Okay, so now I have a look on our solutions here from Matrix42, what's behind it. It's a user-friendly and transparent provisioning of any service to any device of the end user. So what I've discussed before was the management of physical devices here. So the classical piece of client lifecycle management, OS installation, software distribution, patch management, remote control, all of this stuff. The idea our product management had, I believe, three and a half years ago, was to use this single console, this administrative console, for managing as well virtual environments, starting with hypervisor infrastructure management based on VMware ESX vSphere or based on Citrix Xen Server or Microsoft Hyper-V. But also to support environments for publishing applications like Citrix Xen App or the deployment of virtual desktop like Citrix Xen Desktop or VMware View. So this is all part of one single console for managing physical and as well virtual environments. The third one, from an automation point of view, is to manage the mobile devices, right? As you can see here, we are dealing with several different mobile OSs, such like Apple or Android, BlackBerry, Windows Phone 7, Windows 8. So it's a very dynamic market, right? In the moment, we are doing this together with AirWatch. Don't know if you know AirWatch. I'm really sure that you do know AirWatch. But we also acquired 3 weeks ago, a mobile device management vendor called Silverback. This is an Australian company. And the basic idea here is to include the management of mobile devices as well into this administrative console. So the management should be from there on possible to manage physical, virtual, and mobile devices from one single console. But at the end, think more user-centric. This needs to be in line with self-service on support. This is something you can see here on, let's say, 11 o'clock. Self-service, as discussed, a web portal for the end user. And the other one, support, incident, problem, and change management. When thinking about incident management, there are several points for the end user how to communicate with IT. One of it is the web portal. So this is one web portal for the end user to communicate all over with IT. On the other side here, at 2 o'clock, it's all about asset and license management, contract management. Asset management combines all of those inventory datas which are coming from the physical, the virtual, or the mobile world. And at least it is possible to get an understanding about the whole workplace of an end user. Because of that, all different IT assets have to be related to each other. So this is our approach, our holistic approach on how to manage the new workspace or the new work style of an end user. What I want to show you now is based on three typical use cases in this area. So I've prepared some videos I want to comment here. The first one is about the workspace management itself. So what about the bring your own strategy, right? An end user is owner of a tablet whatsoever and does want to have email access on his private tablet, business email access, or he does need to have some Wi-Fi connection or VPN connection to the company resources. Several approaches on how to cover this. One of it could be that the end user is able to connect to this web portal, to the self-service portal, and is choosing for a service called enroll your private device. And this is something I want to show you here within the video. Hopefully you can see this. It's a tablet, iPad in this case, and the end user has opened already the web portal. This is only one point on how to connect to the system. There are also mobile apps for Android and iPad available. And the end user here gets some overview about some information IT wants to share with the end user, and definitely does have the possibility to to order some piece of new software or some piece of new hardware or whatsoever. On the other side, the end user also can directly report some kind of incidents. Okay, so let's move on. The end user now is searching for a search tag enrollment of your private tablet. The system will guide him to some of those services which are available within the self-service portal. And all the end user now has to do is to provide an email address and some information for authentication. And this new order will from there on be placed within the system. So the end user now will get an overview, an order summary, has to submit the order to the system. And the next point is to get some feedback about the order. What is the order progress about? And the next thing here is that someone has to decide about this new order. So this is, in this case, Mike Mitchell. He has received the order from the end user and needs to do the approval about, right? So this is, again, one possibility on how to handle this. The decision maker maybe also receives an email or whatsoever. Okay, so let's move on forward. The approval is done. That's all Mike Mitchell has to do here. And from there on, an email will be sent to the end user's device. And within this email, there's a simple small token within. All the end user has to do now is to click on this URL, and from there on, the system will navigate directly to the mobile device environment. The end user now has to accept something here, needs to specify the passcode, and from there on, several mobile device management-based policies will be applied to the end user's private device. So that's pretty much it. Here in this case, a new application will be enrolled as well. This is a Citrix receiver in this case. And from there on, after this Citrix receiver application has been installed on, the end user is just clicking on it. The Citrix receiver is already fully configured. All the end user has to do now is to authenticate against the Citrix receiver. And the receiver from there on will directly connect to the Citrix environment and will share with the end user all of those virtual components, such like Windows 7 desktop, whatsoever. Not really sure if this is a really cool use case to work on an iPad with your Windows 7 desktop. But if you're thinking about all of those convertibles, this might make much more sense. So at the end user here does have to do an acceptance about the order. It was fully supplied to the end user, and now he can spend some time to rate this deployed service and to accept the order. So this is the first use case on how the end user can connect to a self-service portal, something like an app store, here in this case, for deploying the enrollment process to the mobile devices. The next one is about incident problem or change management, in this case, incident resolution. So how can IT handle, from a service desk point of view, with the request of the end users, also using the capabilities of a service catalog. So in this case, the end user has received from Mike Mitchell here in this case an email with an attachment. In this case, I believe it's an VSD file, right? But the end user isn't able to open this VSD file, so all he's doing is to send an email to IT and is asking for help that IT can deliver or can deploy a program, an application to the end user's device for opening this VSD file. On the other side, from an IT perspective, the service desk agent has logged on to the administrative console, has received this new ticket from the end user. We'll get an overview about what's going on. Is reflecting that VSD files cannot be opened, and from there on, he can handle this ticket by using the service catalog. So here in this case, he's just putting in what to do. We can handle this with deploying, for instance, Visio or Visio Viewer. And after this, he's navigating to the action pane and is deploying a service which is part of the service catalog to the end user's device. So here, in this case, he can search for this specific application. Can be deployed, let's say, physical or on the other side, virtual. And all the end user or the service desk agent has to do now is to provide the information about the target. And after this, the system will guide him here to the summary pane. At least the service desk agent can now decide what should happen with this ticket after the service, the application has been fully deployed to the end user's device. Yeah. From there on, maybe the ticket also has to be closed fully automatically. So this was the second use case here I wanted to share with you about incident management and, in this case, the combination of the service catalog for deploying some kind of software to the end user's device. Good. Moving over to the third use case. It's more about the orchestration of an Office 365 account. And what is needed for doing this? This is based on a workflow. We can handle here with our workflow engine. So for doing this kind of work, we do have something like a workflow designer, which allows IT to create those kind of approval or provisioning processes, or let's say workflows. So what the IT department receives here is a task for creating this kind of provisioning workflow. This is also part of our solution here, and the IT guy from there on moves over here to the workflow section and can handle all of those different workflow instances within the solution, and also can start the workflow designer. So what's behind the workflow designer? It's a graphical tool which allows IT to create all of those different workflows. It's very simple to use. You can see that there are different activities available as part of this workflow. And one of those activities is for installing a software or providing, in this case, an Office 365 account. So what's behind this specific activity? This will be handled by a PowerShell script, which from there on connects to the Microsoft website and fully simply creates for the end user a new Office 365 account. So we could go more into the deep here within this workflow stuff, but as time is moving on, I need to speed up a little bit. So from a summary perspective, our solution is available on-premise and as well in the Matrix42 cloud. It's one solution for managing physical, virtual, and mobile devices. Well, it is in relation or in combination with asset and license management. And for sure, as discussed now, we can provide a self-service portal to our customers, a service catalog, and a service desk covering incident, problem, and change management is included as well. So that's pretty much it. Hopefully this sounds interesting for you. We are available here at our booth downstairs. So if you like, I would appreciate if you show up and I can show you a little bit more about our solution and can go or talk a little bit more in detail. And that's it.